Hi, I'm now been joined by Senator Boucher, Toni Boucher, and Toni is also a recent addition to our circle with 36 state senators. Toni represents the
26th district, the towns of Westport, Wilton, Ridgefield, Reading, Bethel, Weston, and New Canaan.
Now, you're not new to this building.
No.
You served in the House. How long did you serve in the House?
I did. You know, I started this 22 years ago, just the same time that Senator Judy Friedman, who had the seat 22 years, but only on my local Board of Education, where I served as chairman during the last very large recession back in 89, 90, 91, 92, which was not an enviable position to be in, I'll tell you, during those hard times, but I think these are even worse. And I went from there to the State Board of Education as a nominee at that time, and I served there as well as on our local Board of Selectmen. And in 1997, I started my first term of what was to be 12 years in the House of Representatives.
So you've been involved in politics an awful long time.
I have, but I also work in the private sector. And most people out there might not know we're a citizen legislature, which means we do this part-time, and many, if not most of us, have full-time careers and jobs. I work in the area of finance, which is being challenged very much right now. I have an MBA from UConn and a Series 7 in 63. So I am pretty much knee-deep into the financial services industry right now, which had been the engine that drove the revenues for the state of Connecticut. Now they're being challenged, and as such, our budget is being challenged. In
your regional election, you moved up to the Senate. As you said,
did.
Judy Friedman has retired from that seat, and you did a very good job in this last election.
Not an easy process.
You worked very hard. No, you
worked
very hard. And what would you say is the difference between serving in the House versus serving in the Senate?
Well, for one thing, you certainly have a much smaller district. My district would just span 2 towns, and now it goes to 7. When I was in the House, it's just 2 towns, and now it's 7. So the landscape is much, much broader. Many more towns, different characteristics of the towns. So you're really learning those as well when you've been very familiar with. Although I did, serve in the House side for 2 of those towns. Certainly, the Senate is a smaller arena. And so that each individual senator does have an opportunity to make a case and be, I think, a stronger voice for their constituents. That's a very big plus.
And that's because there's 151 House members,
is
that correct?
That's
and only 36 state senators.
Absolutely. I mean, just from the standpoint of sitting in the in the House itself, when you're sitting there, there's almost a roar that takes place that you have to work amongst. Whereas in the Senate, it's fairly quiet. Everyone can actually be heard. So it is quite a different environment. I'm very excited about it. I'm enjoying it very much. And I think we have an outstanding caucus. I'm thrilled that you and John McKinney are our leaders and are doing such a great job. It's really been a pleasure so far.
Thank you very much for those kind words. And do you think that the workload has increased, therefore, because the constituent base has increased?
Well, I have to say that I am finding that simply because of my activities on the part of the 4 committees that I'm serving on. Finance, Transportation, Education, and Children's Committee. And 2 of those, I have some responsibility with regards to the screening of the various bills. And in this kind of climate, with the financial situation being what it is much more challenging. A lot of juggling is something that you have to be prepared to do, for sure. And certainly meetings, and the disadvantage and advantage of having 7 towns, the disadvantage is you're invited to everything, and there's a lot going on in each of my towns. The great advantage, however, is that you get to be very well known much, much quicker than if you had 1 town and there was just 1 opportunity to speak to, say, the Rotary Club or to the Chamber of Commerce. Here, that's multiplied by 5, 6, or 7 times.
Well, you're doing a great job, and you're a needed and welcome addition to the Senate circle, and you certainly brought a lot of energy, as people can see, to our Senate circle. And I want to thank you very much for giving us the time just to tell us a little bit about the difference between the House and the Senate. We welcome you and look forward to the hard work that you've done for the past 20-some-odd years.
Well, Senator, it is my pleasure, and we really, really need to work on recreating an environment in Connecticut where businesses can grow and families can prosper. We really have to return Connecticut to its height.
I agree.